Hey Terry,
Hi there, how you doing?
how's life?
Yeah, not so bad, thanks. And you?
Moving on, I was just on a LFAI. So there is this open source summit going on, right? The Linux Foundation runs that. So I was on that, presenting on that LFAI mini summit. Uh, Quite a bit of interest around, the MLOps topic, right? So I wonder sometimes, we should make this maybe across. I don't know. I mean, like sometimes, it's like this, whether this makes sense in CD Foundation or it should be in something like LFAI Foundation, right? Because
Well, I think there's a strong reason to have this conversation going on within a group that's working on the CI/CD side of things. Because it's clear from the conversations that I've been having that we actually need to get that that group understanding the needs of ML ops and starting to think about how they can extend the capabilities of solutions in those spaces. Um, so there's definitely a benefit to having that conversation running.
yeah. I mean, I think my thing was more like, I mean, if you look at the general attendance, I'm saying whether it makes sense in a CD Foundation or should it be, I mean, this particular SIG, it technically to me maybe, belongs more and, or maybe it's a cross foundation thing which we can work
That
on.
might be a better idea is to just reach out for um, a broader audience.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin,
Hi, how are you?
how are you doing?
Good.
So, what's the interest which brings you here, Kevin? I mean, Terry, if you have certain topic, right? I don't have anything specific, at this point in time.
I also don't have anything specific. I'm working in a machine learning team at Proofpoint, which is an enterprise cybersecurity company, and we're working on a new environment for doing machine learning inference. And so we've been looking around at different resources, and I saw this meeting as an available place to come hear about MLOps.
So, are you creating your own machine learning inference platform, or are you taking something from open source? How is that working out?
We're on AWS, but we're still just kind of in the early design stages, figuring out what exactly we want to do. Most of our products are kind of internal facing. So our goals are mostly just to expose simple REST APIs to the rest of the company for, basically doing product enhancements for features that our company offers in other places. So that's kind of what we're working on.
So, is that Inference Service? I mean, is that platform, or you're saying it already exists and you are essentially focused on building APIs on top of it to expose?
I guess so. Yeah, we are looking at using SageMaker for serving models and for doing a couple of other things, but we're just trying to figure out, especially since we have kind of unusual security requirements in terms of customer confidential data and that kind of thing. We are just kind of evaluating different options for things we might do.
Okay. I mean, so I co-lead one of the groups within the Qflow community called KF Serving. I don't know whether you have heard of the project as such.
I'm familiar with Kubeflow. I haven't looked into Kubeflow serving very much.
Yeah, so that's one of our users. He essentially migrated from in a similar situation as yours, but migrated and moved off and from AWS and moved the entire deployment in-house, leveraging KF serving, right? And part of the reasons was same. I think cost was also a factor to be played because they host this AI dungeon game, right, which is hugely popular, and for that level and they need a lot of GPU capabilities, right? So the cost was becoming a barrier. Plus, in general, they needed more, I would say, serverless and auto scaling characteristics, right? But yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's something we should look into.
I mean, I can just give you a, so this is the stack, right, for KF serving. If you are interested in it, you can reach out, right? So ideally built on top of, Kubernetes, as is everything in Kubeflow, right? But we leverage Knative and Istio under the covers, right, for a variety of reasons. I think the two key things which are important, right, which initially what the drivers was Knative, bringing the serverless capabilities of scale to zero and giving, the auto scalability based on request-based queuing. And then Istio, which gives you, much more control over doing canary rollouts, A/B testing, pin rollouts. So those were the reasons, right, for basing it on that stack. And then, having common stack for TensorFlow, PyTorch, Scala, XGBoost, Onyx Runtime, NVIDIA's TensorRT or Triton server, and providing, pluggable interfaces for not only prediction. I mean, prediction is one of the key things, right? But a lot of the times you are doing pre-processing and post-processing, after getting the user input and before giving the user output, explainability, and then, advanced level capabilities, which are being integrated, like drift detection, anomaly detection. So yeah, I think it's pretty promising, so if you are interested, please reach out to us and I can walk you through a lot of more details around, what it does. But
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on your radar, Terry?
No, we're making steady progress on the roadmap. Ideally, we could do with some extra input. I was hoping that we were going to get some contributions on the security stuff from last week, but I haven't seen anything come in yet. So I'll need to chase up on that. And it would also be good if we could get a few people involved who are working on larger projects with very large data sets, because I'd like to get some input on the data side from people who have are really experiencing the kind of challenges that you get when you're trying to manage very large data sets in these sorts of situations.
Yeah, I think, were you hearing what I was saying, Terry?
Sorry, everything locked up then for a while.
Yeah, okay, sorry. I was saying that, that's where I think the sort of domain expertise you're looking for, or the users for the MLOps, probably LFAI Foundation is maybe is the right one to actually try and reach out, right? So I think it will be wise to figure out, if this can be made a cross-pollination between those two groups, because I believe CD Foundation, the users are here for a particular reason. It's mostly CI/CD pipelines, and that's where the expertise is. But if we need to reach out to a wider audience, which is essentially looking at ML and AI and data, right? I don't think the audience is in the CD Foundation, for the users.
I mean, at the moment, most of the interest is in the APAC version of the SIG. We're seeing much larger attendances in that group. So
maybe what we can do is, just make it that one default, right? And we can switch from this time to, let's just have that one, and whosoever. I mean, if people have a real need to attend, they can attend even if the time is, a bit inconvenient. To me, that probably makes more sense, right? Rather than having two calls.
Well, I think this is one where, clearly you've got a group that have been working on things in this space. So we don't want to disrupt that, but it'd be nice if we could grow this group in the US. And then there seems to be more activity going on in the opposite time zone. But again, a lot of it will just be down to promotion. And once we've got a few more of these conferences going, we can hopefully get some more people involved.
Cool, makes sense, right? And I think the time you have might work because most of the people I work with are on the Pacific time zone. So, or maybe so. What time does your meeting fall for the Pacific time zone? It's pretty early in the day for Pacific.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is offhand, but I can go and look at it again.
Oh yeah. So that becomes like, I mean, typically like, a lot of the evening meetings we have in the Pacific time zone, like whenever we need to interact with, for example, the China side of the house, it's mostly, we have a lot of 5:30, 5 o'clock Pacific calls, right, which get very well attended from the China's or Asia Pacific side. So I think if we can find a sweet spot there, right, which is a bit inconvenient for both the sides, right, but it can be one call, it will eliminate also confusion and because to me, there was a I mean, at least from my perspective, Terry, there was this whole specific project, right, which I was driving, and to the point, what I wanted to get out of it is my first phase is complete, the project is ready, and then if there are not enough technical missions currently, right, where or people interested in technical missions here, right, I would rather join the other group which you have, and proceed from there. Yeah, if that
Right,
makes sense.
let's do another push. I mean, I know within the CDF we're only just starting to really promote this group. So the first of the roadmap announcements went out about a week ago now. So the expectation is that we'll be promoting this on the conference circuit and trying to build up a more of a collaborative working environment. So I think we're still early days on this SIG at the moment.
Yeah, makes sense, right? We can, and obviously there will be a lot of things, and I typically tend to use this call, right, I mean, whenever I need to get some discussion going on with the counterparts on Tecton side or Google side within the Qflow or Tecton community, right? So that's how this serves me, right? I make sure that if I need those folks together, I ping them before, hey, let's sync up, this is a time which is blocked. So yeah, I think that's precisely, I mean, what I would be looking for, right? And if there are more interest coming from a Qflow perspective, I can definitely keep on doing more deep dives there.
Yeah, and I think we're at a stage now where we've done a lot of the sort of boring but relatively straightforward work on the roadmap, and now we're getting into the more challenging issues where actually we might benefit from setting a subject area in advance and circulating an agenda and just doing a call for contributions on that area.
Yeah, so I'm pretty bad at that, Terry. So I'm hoping if that's I mean this is probably you can take the lead and drive, as I said, right?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Too many balls up in the air, like this whole Qflow pipeline Tecton project, plus the whole trusted AI umbrella, and then I'm leading the IBM and Red Hat data and AI open source alignment. So too many balls up in the air to be very wide and draw general purpose topics, right? So I think that's where you can, possibly set the agendas, etc. Right? If I do have certain requests, like, okay, I need maybe 15 minutes blocked for discussion. Let's say, the TensorFlow extended and KFP and Tecton integration, then I can, just slide it into that agenda, right? Yeah.
Okay, no problem. All right, well, let's not waste any more of anyone's time today. Saying that, and we've just had a new joiner. Welcome.
Hey Javier, can you hear us?
Okay, well, unless you have anything else, I think we'll probably wrap it up at this point then.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.